What's going on, guys? It's Karth and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about when will the Burning Crusade Prepatch release on Classic Anniversary servers. Now, I did a slight preview of this on my Nax announced video, but this one is going to be a little bit more focused on TBC specifically. This article was posted by Draenei. If you don't know who that is, he's a cool YouTuber. I actually really like his content. I'll leave a link to the Wowhead article and just shout out his YouTube channel here in the beginning of my video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So this article was posted on Wowhead just 2 days ago, and it was basically talking about the classic roadmap for Anniversary, which is this right here. And it kind of breaks down where we might see TBC launch along with the pre-patch event. Now, we're sticking to this chart, which I actually linked, which I actually showed in my previous video for Nax. It shows the differences between the Anniversary phase releases and the 2019 phase releases. Shout out to the Reddit user Aussie_Roy for this. But reading this just a little bit, this talks about this chart. This assumes that we'll have an 18-week phase 6, which also includes at least 2 weeks of TBC Prepatch, where we could be looking at maybe a shorter Nax phase to push out TBC faster. Some factors will need to be considered when looking into this release date. Along with TBC, we also have 5.2 and MOP, which is the Throne of Thunder raid, and obviously Midnight. I will counterpoint this just a little bit in the fact that in the past 2 phase releases, stuff has been happening all over WoW at the exact same time. As an example, Retail's season launch came out around the same time as AQ launch, which came out right around when MOP launched. And I know for me personally, I kind of enjoy every flavor of World of Warcraft, and I was overwhelmed with stuff to do. I eventually had too much on my plate, and I had to kind of give up MOP a little bit and kind of just do a little bit with Retail here and there. Anyway, reading a little bit further down, based on the consistent rhythm of how Blizzard tends to release major content patches / expansions, it does look like all 3 of these versions of WoW could have their new content released close to each other. Oh, it kind of mentions that right here. Blizzard could consider an earlier release of TBC to try to prevent 3 versions from dropping at the same time. I would actually prefer this. Scrolling down a little bit. This is the chart that I mainly wanted to talk about. So I would prefer, honestly, this last option. I think one of the biggest grievances that people had in TBC in 2021 was the pre-patch length. Pre-patch in original TBC Classic was 2 weeks long, and for most casual players that weren't getting mage boosted or didn't have guildies helping them, that is just such a short amount of time. It's a maximum of 2 raid lockouts for any new Shaman or Paladin players on Alliance or Horde. And it's also just like, if you want to level a Blood Elf or Draenei, which I will be probably leveling at least 1, you know, it's just not really a lot of time to be doing stuff. Excuse me. Reading further down a little bit, immediately we see that a 12-week window is extremely unlikely. First, 6 weeks is probably too long for a pre-patch, and 12 weeks is too short for Nax. Secondly, they'll put TBC pre-patch on January 1st. The earliest we'll probably see the pre-patches around the 14-week mark or January 13th. Now, do I think that this bracket or this combination is the most likely? Probably, yes. But me personally, I'd prefer this. I think, for me personally as a content creator, it gives me more time to push out TBC content. It also gives me more time to enjoy the pre-patch and take it a little bit more casually, as opposed to rushing all the things I need to do, such as quest log prep on my hunter, leveling my clone hunter, getting both those characters fully set up, getting my warriors set up, and then probably also getting a shaman set up. So I've got a lot of stuff that I need to do. I'm hoping to also get a warlock set up, but that, you know, again, this is kind of why I wanted a longer pre-patch, so that I can have time to do all of these different things. Looking at some... Oh, this also talks about what I just mentioned. Like, all of this came out within 1 month of each other. The AQ release, the MOP X pack, and the War Within season. And just a little bit more of my own context while I kind of look at this image right here. Oh. Big takeaways from this, in my personal opinion, is I don't see Blizzard going for a holiday release for TBC. I think they have done holiday releases in the past, but I think Nax, having the reputation that it kind of does in Anniversary, does not really promote a super fast, like, let's push out TBC as fast as we possibly can. Another thing to consider is another article that was recently posted. Let me pull it up. This one right here. So, if you guys aren't aware, there is a China-specific realm called Titan Reforged that is essentially a Season of Discovery Wrath Classic plus Mish hybrid that Blizzard is kind of pushing through to these Chinese servers. And they had also mentioned that this specific realm, along with Mists of Pandaria, will be Blizzard's primary focus moving from now until the following year. And while that frustrates me a little bit, considering the fact that I was pretty excited for Classic Plus, and also just Classic in general, I think we have moved past the, oh, just re-release an expansion and people will love it. I mean, I think with Progression Realms, like, if they decide to go forward into Warlords of Draenei, for example, I think that'll flop pretty heavily. MOP isn't exactly doing too well. I think for the people that play Mists of Pandaria, it's a great expansion, but the Ironforge.pro numbers don't exactly support it, but I think the localized community within itself is pretty solid. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with the X-Pack. But I think Classic in NA right now is kind of in a lull. With TBC coming out, I think that'll kick it up a little bit, but if I'm being honest, like, the first three, the big trilogy that people always talk about of Classic, TBC, and Wrath, I just don't think it does it for the community in 2025. I think people want more, like, content added on to whether that be Classic, TBC, or Wrath. However they decide to do it, I think people want more stuff added on to their original formula. People have played through these Classic releases a couple times now, and while they are fun expansions standalone, you know, doing them over and over and over again isn't everybody's cup of tea. And if you want to do that with vanilla, Era has a thriving community just on its own. I think Blizzard should really take a look at the player numbers and also how the community has kind of evolved in the past 6 or so years, and take that and take some time to develop, whether that be a Classic Plus or even something such as these Titan Reforged realms. I mean, if you take a look at some of these patch notes that aren't technically patch notes, but some of the additions they're adding into these realms, it's pretty cool. I mean, they're changing all raid sizes to scale to 25 man or 10 man for like ZG and ZA, which is kind of neat. Equipment will be recast to level 80. 2 and 4 pieces will be the only set bonuses. Legendaries can be progressively updated. I don't know if I necessarily enjoy the idea of like experiencing all 3 expansions in the exact same time. It feels kind of like, I think I get a little bit too flashbacked into the retail, like, seasonal raid patches that were in Dragonflight, where like it would be, I think it's called Awakened, and you would like experience one raid every week, and I don't necessarily enjoy that type of playstyle. I think it's a little bit dry and the gear becomes almost entirely meaningless. But I think this as in general, like this fully fresh classic idea is a lot more appealing and a lot more widespreadly popular than just going over and over and over again. Now, me personally, I love TBC, and I'm really excited to experience it again. But even me, this will probably be the last one. Like, I'm gonna do TBC Anniversary, and then I'm either gonna go. Maybe I'll go into Wrath Anniversary, but after this trilogy set, I'm not doing the trilogy no more. I'm either gonna go to Progression Classic when Legion Classic comes out, or I'll go to retail and experience Midnight with like player housing and stuff like that. I know this video has gone a little bit tangenty. I just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents on 2 different Wowhead articles that were posted, but main takeaway is I am hoping, if for some reason the YouTube algorithm sprouts this video in front of a Blizzard employee's face, I think at the bare minimum 14 weeks of Nax and 4 weeks of pre-patch, or 12 and 6 is your strongest option. A 2-week TBC pre-patch, again, is just not gonna cut it. People are not wanting to do all that again. Alright guys, quick news update video. If you guys like this sort of WoW news, keeping up with some of the Wowhead articles style of content, please leave it down in the comments down below. Subscribe for more content coming soon, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.